Chapter 17. Clutching her shawl against the wind, Eloise hustled Luke to the bakery Tuesday morning. It was well before 9 o'clock, and though she'd fed Luke hours ago, she was hungry, and not just for breakfast. She'd made herself wait at least a day before going over there. She didn't want to give him the impression that she was checking in on him. She was just stopping in for breakfast. Her blush betrayed her, though, she knew. Pausing a moment outside to compose herself, she saw Zeke through the large store windows, and her heart skipped. When she entered the bakery, his head whipped around at the sound of the bell, and his face lit up with a smile. It set her blush climbing her cheeks all over again. He looked the part of a baker, and it suited him. He had a white apron wrapped around his waist with the strings long enough to tie in front. The sleeves of his shirt were cuffed to show off his forearms, and they were smudged with flour. Loading a tray with used dishes, he balanced it on one hand and ran a rag across the table with the other to clear it of stray crumbs. He worked energetically, but his puffy eyes betrayed his tiredness. Poor man has probably been awake since 3 or 4 in the morning to prepare the morning's menu. His smile at her entrance warmed her middle, but he didn't look her direction again. He was busy with other customers. For a moment, she doubted he even wanted her there. Eloise, the man lingered to watch a sunset with his arm around your shoulder. A man wouldn't do that if he didn't want to see you. He'd made it clear on Sunday how he felt. Why would he hide now? Agnes Anderson greeted her with an embrace. As usual, she knelt to offer a handshake to Luke.
"Hello, big guy."
But he ignored her hand and fell into her for a hug. Agnes held him, and he rested his head on her shoulder with one thumb in his mouth and the other wrapped around her neck. The corner table she led them to was perfect. Eloise would be able to watch the whole room without being obvious, and Luke was less likely to bother anyone from the out-of-the-way table.
"Order will be right up, kids,"
Agnes said. "But I haven't ordered anything." Eloise adjusted her chair and moved the place setting away from Luke.
"You'll want today's special. Our new baker outdid himself this morning."
Soon she returned with a tray of the largest cinnamon rolls Eloise had ever seen. "Goodness, Agnes, I don't know if I could eat one of those on my own."
"You'll have to give it a go with your little helper then. See what you can do with it."
She served one to Eloise and transferred a portion to Luke's plate.
"He offered to make this, and we let him. So far, they've been a crowd favorite. Much different than our usual style. Says it's some secret recipe. Now he's thinking he wants to try it out when he gets a place in California. He's something else. Got more ideas than a grasshopper in July."
Eloise agreed. Pulling off sections of the soft bread, she observed him working. It was fun to get a chance to see another side of him. Zeke was especially friendly with the children, and he didn't rush orders with the elderly. Waiting for him to come over, she rehearsed her invitation to dinner tomorrow, hoping it came across naturally. She'd planned to work it into the conversation easily, like it was a passing thought, and not give away the undercurrent of nerve she felt at having him in her home again. The boy, Samuel Forsberg, came in. She recognized him from church. Zeke chatted with him as if they were old pals and sent him on his way with a brown paper sack. Zeke looked her way as Sam was leaving, and she signaled for Zeke to come over, but he never did, offering her a half-smile instead and nodding at a table that needed to be cleared. A steady drip of orders came through, but the shop was not crowded. Both Agnes and Oscar each found time to sit and rest by the counter, but Zeke kept moving. He topped coffee cups, wiped tables, and even sat and spoke with the customers at their tables. But he still did not find time to acknowledge her. Eloise fiddled with her fork, taking small bites. She had to constantly remind Luke to stay seated. Eventually, Zeke disappeared into the kitchen, and business in the shop slowed. When the 9 o'clock bell rang clearly through the town, signaling time for school, she sighed. "Come, Luke, time to go." He stood in his chair, and the crumbs scattered from him onto the floor. The mess embarrassed her, and she left an extra coin on the table. Embracing Luke against her, she escaped, wincing at the sound of the bell announcing her exit. It seemed to shout, "Here goes Eloise the fool! What a silly girl!" Wind fought at her skirts, and she held her bonnet to keep it in place. It was another brisk April morning. The sky was white and low, colder than she'd been prepared for after the warm spell of last week. "Let's get home, little man." Walking past the church, she was greeted by the sheriff.
"Mrs. Davidson, I heard everything's patched up with Boss. All appeared friendly like at church Sunday. I found Mr. James' coat under the cot. Need to get it off my hands. I was taking it to him now, but I need to see Frank first. You wouldn't mind?"
"Luke and I must—"
Good.
He pushed the coat into her arms.
Much obliged."
Tipping his hat, he went the other way toward the livery. Luke wanted to be put down, and she let him. The overcoat was awkward enough to hold without a wiggling toddler in her arms. She held the dark wool open for inspection. It was his, all right. He'd been wearing it the night of the dance, though the night had been too warm to need it. She folded it over her arm and changed course to return to the bakery. The wind pushed at her back, asking her to hurry. She didn't want to return, but the wind didn't listen. What it did was tease the hair around her face and grab her skirts. It flapped at the coat she carried, and a folded page fell from a pocket and fluttered ahead of her. The paper flew against the wall and got itself stuck in the corner. She wasn't required to chase after it, thankfully. Running through town, even to catch a wayward paper, would be a sight, one directly forbidden in certain etiquette books. "Keep up!" she called to Luke, and then stepped on the paper to keep it from floating away. A quick look showed the page was filled with a flowing script. Well-worn creases in the folds showed frequent handling. Scanning the document, her heart fell like a brick. She didn't mean to intrude on his personal affairs, but a few phrases burst out at her. "Dearest Zeke, will you not stay? How you will be missed." She dropped her eyes to the signature. "All my love goes with you, Rachel." She jerked her eyes away and refolded the letter, hiding the words. The all-too-familiar ache in her chest throbbed. Shoving the letter into her pocket, she took off for home. Tobias could return the coat. If she never saw Zeke again, it would be fine with her. Whatever she'd thought was special about him, she'd made up in her head. He didn't even want to be in this town. Why was she kidding herself? He was leaving, going west. Oglebow wouldn't miss him, and he could keep Rachel's love and take it all the way to the Pacific while he was at it. West, west, west. Oglebow doesn't want you here anyway. Only a glutton could eat a cinnamon roll that big. He could take his big ideas and his food to California. "Luke," she snapped at the toddler, "you cannot sit in the middle of the walk. We are going home." She didn't wait for him to decide when he was ready to get up. Her back already ached from carrying him. Why did little boys insist on running when they should sit, and sit when they could run? He fussed when she pulled on his arm, but she didn't relent. "If you want to play, we can play at home. Now walk, please." He turned into a limp doll sinking to the ground. "Get up!" he cried. Bending over, she snatched him from the ground. Bundling him and the oversized coat together, she marched through the square with Luke's screams echoing over her shoulder.